Thank you.
As we continue the theme for this morning, up next is Krumma Jonsdottir, an expert in performance strategy who's worked with over 650 hotels and organizations across Europe. She brings a rare understanding of how culture and well-being affect performance. Today, Krumma will introduce us the heroic paradox, showing us how to thrive under pressure without sacrificing well-being, something I'll be paying close attention to. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's better. Better like this. Why do some chefs build? And why do some chefs break? Careers, teams, lives. That's a question that I would like us to spend some time with. But before that, I need to tell you something important. I don't have the jacket. I'm not one of you. I have never had the responsibility of 700 cover service. I have never been a pastry chef in a Michelin restaurant. And I have never had to correct an apprentice in the middle of the rush. But what I have done is that I have spent 30 years working with you, watching you, from the front desk to executive committees, from managing training, operational training and quality training for over 650 hotels in Europe, to leading higher education institutions in hospitality. So it gives me a little bit of credibility to be here with you. What I do have that you do not have is distance, is perspective. Because I've been, like I said, working with you, I've been watching you. I have seen chefs build or break. And this is what we're going to be talking about. Yes, I'm an outsider. And I would like you to join me today. Come with me as an outsider. You're not in your kitchens today. You're far from your kitchens today. You're far from your families. You're far from your stocks, your orders. Okay, you got your phones, but you're far. So join me. Let's take a step back and let's face the world we're in. This is not me inventing anything. Does anyone know where I got this figure from? It's on the screen, yeah. These are your figures. This is from World Chefs Association. 40% of turnover in our industry is linked to mental health. Some of this turnover, people don't come back. It's not only going from one restaurant to another, from one hotel to another, they're leaving the industry, we're losing talents. And some of this turnover is because of the chef, because of the manager, because of the leadership. Okay, so now some of you might be like, who the hell is she coming up on stage and telling us that we are responsible for talents leaving the industry? I'm not here to tell you that your kitchens are broken. I'm not here to tell you that this is all your fault. I'm here to tell you that this doesn't have to be this way. And there is something better that we can do together. for this to stop. And by the way, I'm talking to chefs today, but this is not only, and these figures are, yes, about the kitchen, but it's not only for you. I can have approximately the same discourse in all the parts, for all the departments of our lovely industry. So, same kitchen, same pressure, same heat. Some chefs build, and some chefs break. Some chefs have learned, have been taught to build, and others are conditioned to break. Every day, we build, we break, and this is what I call the heroic paradox. Nothing to do with hero crops, okay? Coincidence that I go just after them. I would like you to stand up. All of you, stand up. Okay, it's almost coffee break, so let's move our bodies. Okay, stand up. Everyone who can stand up, stand up. Okay, if you have not had any service, any shift of more than 10 hours recently, you can sit down. Okay? This was those who sat down, it's maybe because you were on vacation. Okay, so those who are still up. During those last tough shifts, those long shifts, are we agreeing that maybe you have felt frustration, anger, disappointment, being fed up with something? Okay? For those who never felt that recently, you can sit down. No frustration, no adversity, no nothing. Everything was perfect. Okay. 80% of the room is still standing. Okay, you can sit down. The heroic paradox. There's a dark side of it, and there's a bright side of it. We can intuitively fall into the dark side. And only if we were taught to switch to the bright side, we can manage that, we can cope, and we can thrive. I would like to talk to you about an experiment. Old one, 1960. Seligman, a renowned psychologist, was studying pressure and chronic stress. And he found out something very, very disturbing. People who were under chronic stress, with no way out, no escape, they gave up. And you can tell me, yeah, we know that. What is more disturbing is that when the door was open, escape was possible, they still stayed down. They didn't move. What he called this is learned helplessness. You can learn to become helpless. Well, the good thing is that what you also found out is that if helplessness can be learned, hope can be learned too. What we're saying here is that hope, efficacy, resilience, optimism, impact, and courage are not characters. These are behaviors that we can learn, and we need to be taught. And you see, this is not my opinion. This is actually the foundation of modern psychology. Just like a musician, I have composed the heroic paradox. I have created the heroic paradox. These specialists, these experts, have given me the keys, just like in music. I didn't invent anything, but what I would like us to start to do is to dance with this music, with this heroic paradox. Can we just accept that our job is tough, that the rush is exhausting? Can we just accept it and then learn to thrive through it? Raise your hand if after a very, very tough service, you often feel satisfaction. I made it. We did it as a team. Raise your hand. Always. And this is why we're there. This is why we're doing it. This is why we come back the day after. And that is also something that we learn. Yesterday morning, we had an amazing keynote from Eric Lanlard. He said, talent is nothing without guidance. And yes, he gave me the authorization to quote him. Okay? I totally agree with that. What I would like to add is this. So yes, talent is nothing without guidance. Guidance is nothing without essential skills education. And let me stop here. And let me take a sidestep. Let's talk about sex. I got people on the phone. Okay, where am I? Chef's Congress? Okay, who got children here? Okay, they can be grown up, they can be young. Okay, everyone who has children, move a little bit forward on your chairs because I will need your reaction here. Okay, move a little bit on your chairs, open your hip, be like ready to react. So I'm going to give you a scenario here. You're at home, it happens. Dinner time happens too. Chefs are sometimes home at dinner time with family, and your 10-year-old daughter comes in. Okay, and I'm looking at your reactions. And she comes in, sits down at the table, you start to chat, and she says, Mom, Dad, tomorrow at school, we can have sexual training. And you're like, no. You're not going to school tomorrow. Sexual training? No way. You freak out. What the hell is the school doing here? Okay. Different scenario. Same chefs, same dinner table, same moment, same daughter comes in, start to chat and says, Mom, Dad, tomorrow we're going to have sexual education at school. You breathe, she's 10. You look at your wife, your husband, yeah, okay. That's good, isn't it, honey? That's good, yeah. And you're a little bit relieved. The difference between education and training is huge. Education gives the person critical thinking, the skills to make responsible choices, and to play safe when they're going to apply. Training is application. So, for those who don't have children yet, if your kid comes home and says, sexual training tomorrow at school, ask yourself questions, okay? And in our industry, we very often jump, and more, we jump into training. We skip education. So, we need to think about that. And actually, what I wanted to say, my point here with this sidestep, is that you were taught, and I'm really confident, and there are examples here this morning. German talked about knife skills, okay? I'm confident that you are teaching, educating your people on the technical skills. And you were taught to run a service, but you were never taught to run yourself, your body, your mind. You have competencies, technical competencies, but when in the rush, where are the capacities to have access to these competencies? Now, I have just explained you the gap, and like I said, I'm not here saying your kitchens are broken. I'm not saying this is all your fault. What my mission here is to get us together and say, hey, we have a responsibility in closing the gap. In our industry, in our companies, fortunately, there's progress. Almost every company has a protocol for treatment. When there's crisis, when there are accidents, we know what to do. We have resources, we have access to people, experts, psychologists, doctors, specialists. We are getting better and better when it comes to prevention. And yes, there are laws that oblige us to put in place prevention. What almost no one is doing is the missing ingredient. And the missing ingredient is promotion. I'm not talking about marketing here, okay? Promotion is education. It's another word for education. It's about teaching. Remember, learned behavior. Teaching ourselves, teaching our young future chefs and leaders to flourish from the start. You have for sure heard about psychosocial risks. Who has never heard about psychosocial risks? Okay. Now raise your hands if you have heard about psychosocial competencies education. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 hands. Okay. So why are we always just managing when something bad happens? Oh, a little bit of prevention. Why don't we look at the beginning and create the conditions to be okay? So the psychosocial competencies, again, I'm not inventing. This is 1993 World Health Organization putting in paper out there the 21 essential skills that we need to thrive. 3 families: cognitive, emotional, and social. You might have heard quite a lot about the emotional and social, but less the cognitive. And here again, I come with a missing ingredient. Because you can have emotional skills, social skills, but if you don't have the self-awareness, the critical thinking, I'm going to give you all of them here, the emotional and social competencies, you're not going to be able to access them when you need them the most. Okay, this is not my shopping list, but this is my mission, this is my fight. My fight is to get this into every single learning and development plan in our industry, into every single education program in our industry. We need this. And please take a picture. You can cut me out afterwards. You're going to want this. And I'm going to make it simple for you. And I can go back. I can go away. Let's make it simple. And I am so pleased that since yesterday morning, I have heard several speakers talk about this. And let me quote Kirby Kurt yesterday, who was talking about the check-in. Remember, he was talking about the check-in, how it's important to check in with your team and to be authentic. That means he's jumping directly, and he's right. He's going into know your systems. Listening, empathy. But if you don't know yourself, if you don't manage yourself, you will not be available to listen. You will not be authentic. So we need to start with a start. I would like you to close your eyes. If you picture this, close your eyes, and I would just like you to think right now. You're far from your kitchen. You're far from your families. Some have been traveling from very, very far. Right now, what heroic paradox are you fighting? Are you feeling overwhelmed with all the information in this Congress? Are you feeling resistance to something that I am saying or something that other people are saying? Are you feeling insignificant because everyone has these white jackets and has big names, and you kind of feel you're just a chef? And I can go on. Have you ever been taught how to handle that feeling and how to go back to hope? The hope that you felt the other day when someone gave you compliments. The impact that you had on your mentee, on your apprentice, or even your mentor, if I quote German this morning, that he wanted to be the mentee of his mentees. Just take a moment. Some of you might really have the capacity of your competencies, and you really just visualize how to move from helplessness to hope and so on. But some of you might be struggling because you were never taught how to do this. The learning path that I have created has been measured. 85% of participants say that they feel, this is self-observation, increased productivity and better focus. 63% say reduced worries and less negative thoughts. That's huge. In 1977 already, Michael Fordyce said, measuring my happiness improves my happiness. And actually just naming it, what you just did, by naming what is the paradox I am fighting right now, you're already on the way of improving it. That is information, that is education. Today what I'm doing here is information and education. So success, to close down this, success does not require sacrifice. And there might be people in the audience like, Krumma, that's not true. Success requires tremendous amount of effort. And the frontier between effort and sacrifice is extremely thin. And we need to teach ourselves, train these young people to know the frontier between effort and sacrifice, because we should not go on to sacrifice. And I need you to do this, because builders. The research on the psychosocial competencies say that the impact is on 3 generations. If we take care of ourselves, we are going to have different relationships, and these people are going to be impacted in turn. So I need you. So the big QR code is going to bring you to a LinkedIn post, a little bit of visibility here. And I would like you to like it, to share it, to tag your sous chef, for us to say, we're going to go build, we're going to go educate, we're going to go promote the essential skills to thrive. Because it's possible, and we can learn how to thrive, and we can learn how to perform. Thank you.